Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town Council meeting for Monday, May 20th. If you will please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to move into public comment. So this portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public, who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment remotely should email publicmeetings@rockyhillct.gov prior to 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting, at which time you will receive a link to attend the meeting, as well as instructions on how to participate. And just going down to appointments and resignations. Thank you.
We have none to report.
Okay.
None to report.
Okay. And we're going.
Public comment? Oh, public.
Oh, so sorry. Yes. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here from Rocky Hill chapter of Greater Hartford Foundation. We have been in town for last 3 years. We have been allotted $170,000 from the foundation to give away to the nonprofits which are benefiting and operating in Rocky Hill. We have given in past years money to the Rocky Hill Band, West Hill School, and then Operation Fuel and all those small things. You can find all the stuff on the website, which is Hartford Foundation. So we have started our grant cycle, and the applications are out, and they will be out till July 31st. So everybody is welcome. Any nonprofit who is registered under 501c3, or they can use a fiscal sponsor to apply for the grant. But they are very well welcome to apply for the grant, and we are having a small reception at the community center on June 24th to meet the people, answer any questions, and we will have our past honorees there to speak about their experience of application and how they use the money for Rocky Hill. So everyone is welcome to join the reception and apply for the grant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name. She didn't mention her name and address. She needs to.
Oh, Shilpa, can you come mention your name and address, please? Thank you.
My name is Shilpa Gohil, and 9 Beecher Lane, Rocky Hill.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who wants to be heard from the public?
I think we have one.
Are you from the public, sir?
If I count.
You do count.
Mike Garahy, Fire Chief, Town of Rocky Hill. And I'm here tonight to throw the fire department support behind the police department's communications coordinator's position. I've given this a lot of thought and come to the conclusion that without a doubt this position's a must-have. To make this decision, I looked at the communication systems, and that's plural, in their entirety. We have a communication system, backbone, that utilizes fixed transmitters, receivers, mobile radios, portable radios, pagers for notifying the volunteers, iPads, body cameras, Surface Pros, and you name it. And not for nothing, if you told me years ago we would need computers to mitigate incidents, it would have given me a laugh, but we're at that point. This stage, instant access to info is priceless. We talked earlier at Public Safety about the Emergency Response Guidebook. That's also available electronically. There's mobile apps for that. We're putting it on all our iPads. We also have apps to provide details for hybrid and electric cars so that during extrications we don't cut high voltage lines, which could be catastrophic to us. Write down the local hazard information pre-planning, and in the case of last night's missing persons, we had satellite views of the area allowing us to coordinate a more focused search. So looking at this from about the 10,000-foot level, we have a fire department fleet with a replacement value of about $9 million at this point. And to support this, we have 1.5 mechanics positions. We have a town highway fleet with about 20 vehicles, each worth about $250,000, along with numerous other vehicles, and we support those vehicles with 3 mechanics. We have about $6 million worth of communications equipment, and we don't have in-house support at this point. We rely on outside vendors to perform those duties, and those guys are almost like AAA for communications, and we've all waited at one point or another for a tow truck. So there's numerous other responsibilities that go along with this position, but from my standpoint, just looking at the past week, where we've had 2 incidents that required multi-agency responses and needed to be supported by unified command posts, the need for someone to be on-site or readily available for technical needs is critical. Currently, the secondary and supplemental notifications for the fire department's down. And PD is working on getting that back up so we can notify our people in a better method. So to have any type of communication or information failure during an operation, it could be catastrophic. So I think I'm running towards my 3 minutes here. So to sum things up, and in the interest of public safety, once again, we feel that this position is a must-have. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard? Okay, I'm just,
Madam Mayor, if I can, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda to move up the presentation for BAPS Charity Walk 2024 after appointments and resignations.
okay.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know, I think we need to go back to appointments and resignations. Councilor O'Sullivan, you said you had none.
That's correct.
Yeah, we are none.
Okay. Now we're going to go and back to the proclamation for the 2024 National Public Works Week. And I'm going to ask Mr. Lentini to join me at the podium.
How are you? Good.
So, in case you didn't know, it is National Public Works Week, which runs from the 15th to the 25th. And the theme this year is Advancing Quality of Life for All. So we wanted to take this moment to recognize our Public Works Department, and we have Joe Lentini here, who is the director, so welcome. And this is for you, and I'm just going to read it. So whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Rocky Hill. And these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And it is the public's interest for the citizens and civic leaders and the children in Rocky Hill to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association. So now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Lisa J. Murata, Mayor of the town of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, do hereby designate the week May 19th to the 25th, 2024, as National Public Works Week. And I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, our engineers and managers, our employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing the quality way of life. So thank you, Mr. Lentini.
Thank you.
You want to say a few words?
No.
He's a man of few words. Okay.
Man of few
Take
words.
your Put it in your office.
Thank you.
So now we have a little presentation by BAPS Charity regarding the walk that's going to happen very soon. So I'm going to call those members up to the podium.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Bhaskar Pandya. I reside in Rocky Hill, 12 Drummond Drive, and here to brief you guys, just to talk a little bit about BAPS Charities and the walk we have coming up on June 2nd in Rocky Hill. So this is from part of the BAPS Charities. It is a nonprofit global charity. Active in 9 different countries across the continent. It is a volunteers-driven and dedicating portion of their lives in spreading the selfless service. The focus, it focuses on 5 areas. Oh, actually, yeah, there you go. You got the clicker? Cool. All right. So the BAPS Charities focuses on 5 areas. Health awareness, providing the health services, educational services, humanitarian relief, environmental services, and community empowerment. Now, there are many global initiatives that we have throughout the across North America and globally. The local initiatives is what we're going to focus on today to see what we have been doing in recent years in these 5 areas that what I just mentioned. So in the recent years, during the COVID time, which was tough for everyone, there were during 2020 we had provided a number of PPE kits to the Hartford hospitals and Newington Police Department and fire departments as well. If you go to the next slide. Constantly, annually, we also focus on health. In doing so, we have blood drives, we have flu vaccine drives, and health awareness lectures that happen every quarter. Go to the next one. Also part of education support, locally we have supported our nonprofit education foundation, Rocky Hill Education Foundation. In recent years, we had provided some grants to them as well. If you go to the next slide, and food drives have been a constant since actually 2007, since we have opened in Newington. We've been doing annually food drives, donating in Newington and even a couple of times in Rocky Hill as well. But today I want to give the focus on to the walkathon that we have coming up. And without further ado, instead of me talking the main, the taking over the whole presentation, I'd like to invite our youths over here, the young generations that are going to talk about the walkathon and the beneficiaries and the cause and some of the experience they have put in some efforts in doing so, in spreading the awareness and the message behind it, and also doing the fundraising. So Isha, please come up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Isha Golhill, and I'm currently a 6th grader at Griswold Middle School. So, as Mr. Pandya said, BAPS Charities does many events to support local as well as global communities. So, our next In the Joy of Others Walk and Run is on June 2nd, 2024, right here in Elmridge Park. Next slide. Apart from BAPS charities, this walk is also benefiting Newington Police and Fire Department and also our own Rocky Hill Fire Department. These local heroes work tirelessly to protect us, and this is our way to give back to them. Next slide. This year, our kids and teen volunteers are raising funds for the walk by going door to door. We're also spreading the message, "In the joy of others lies our own," which is the BAPS motto. This also helped them to learn essential social skills. Hey, Mom, that's my photo. Anyways, while it's up there, let me show you what it's all about. So my first walk was in 2015, and I've walked every year after. Even when COVID hit the world, I participated virtually. This year, I'm also raising money for the walk. The best memory of BAPS Walkathon was walking in the rain with my best friend Kiva. I not only enjoy doing it for myself, but I also know that it's for those local heroes, and that makes me smile. This event not only supports a healthy lifestyle, but also installs values of kindness and compassion. I would like to invite my friends who are volunteering to share their experiences about the BAPS walks. First up, let me introduce Janie.
Do you want to stand on that green chair behind you?
Yes, no? Okay. All right. So they can see you.
Oh. Or kneel, whatever you
Yeah, you
prefer.
can actually kneel. Very perfect. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Janie Pandya, residing in Rocky Hill. I have been part of BAPS charities all my life and learning important values of life, importance of selfless service, and how giving is greater than getting. The annual walkathon is one of my favorite projects to participate in.
You attended.
I attended my first walk in a stroller when I was just 10 months old. Okay, that's not truly walking, but you don't have to walk to show your support. There are many ways you can contribute to this noble cause, either by walking or donating or both. This is the first time my little sister and I are raising funds for the walk. Let's face it, raising fund is not always easy, but when your intention and message is pure, it is possible and fun. This is my small step towards making the community better and supporting our Rocky Hill Fire Department, who are also volunteers like us. But they put their life in danger to protect us. The walk is one way of thanking them for their service. It gives me joy to invite you all to join us at the walk on June 2nd. Oh yeah, please don't forget to bring your sunglasses, sunscreen, comfortable shoes, and good spirit. Thank you. See you at the walk.
Okay. So here's another one of my friends that unfortunately couldn't make it today, but he's obviously been walking for almost all of his life. So next up, I would like to invite Hetanj to speak.
Hi, my name is Hitansh Patel, and I'm a student here at Rocky Hill High School. I've had countless memorable experiences at our annual walkathons. This year especially, I was able to fundraise for this event. My 10-year-old brother and I made our way throughout our neighborhood to raise money. It gave me joy to spread awareness about BAPS charities while also helping the volunteers at Rocky Hill Fire Department. I've been part of the Rocky Hill community since I was a child, and being able to contribute to this very community is very gratifying. BAPS Charities gave me the chance to expand my horizons and take a small step towards progress. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you all to this walkathon on June 2nd at Elmridge Park. Thank you.
Next up, I would like to invite one of my older friends, Shaylee.
Hi, good evening. My name is Shaylee Patel, and I'm a student at the University of Connecticut, and I've been living in Rocky Hill all my life, which is like 20 years. So I've been attending our annual walkathons since I was a child, and every year we would walk to raise money for different causes, whether that be planting trees or supporting breast cancer. And learning about these various issues helped me gain awareness of all these, about our community in many ways, and even at a young age, I was able to gain new perspectives. And while doing so, we were also able to have fun. So we were walking, we were laughing with our friends and chatting, and we were able to have fun while doing so. And we would also get to see the people's support for us. So when we would walk, there would be cars going by, so they would honk, show their support, which was also, it gave us like a sense of pride, basically. So these annual walkathons have really given me a sense of pride in our community and being able to support this community. So I hope to see you all there, and thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, these kids were good.
Yes.
So as we wrap up the whole presentation, you would like to know how you can participate. There is a QR code on the screen already. You can scan those QR code and participate, register to participate. It also has a link to donate also on the fundraising page, so you can donate there. And next slide. Here are some of the ways you can stay connected with us, know more about us. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. And on the BAPS Charities website, you will have our annual reports, which will focus on what we have been doing in North America since, like every year, what are we doing in North America and Canada. So you will have some of those highlights there also. So please refer to those so that you know what I've been up to. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, I think it goes without saying on behalf of the entire council, that was a tremendous, tremendous presentation. We're so happy and proud of all of you. Isha and Janie, I think you're putting the fun in fundraising for sure. And Anthan and Shaylee, I think you guys are really great role models for some of the younger students. So thank you for what you're doing. And for others, just in the community who are your age, it's a big deal to be involved as a volunteer to the level that you are, but then to actually come to a council meeting and share what you're doing and your experiences, and through a PowerPoint presentation, no less, is astoundingly amazing. So congratulations to all of you. We all look forward to attending.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions or? Okay. Thank you. Great job, kids. Good job. Okay, we're going to go on to approval of the minutes. A town council meeting, May 6, 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing, April 25th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Going on to subcommittee reports, beginning with finance.
The Finance Subcommittee has not met since our last council meeting. We are scheduled to meet June 13th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Government Operations.
Government Operations met earlier today. Just a couple of updates. First, regarding the RLE program, the Maxwell Park soccer and softball field lighting has been retrofitted. They are working on the hockey, deck hockey area and the tennis courts now, and they hope to have that completed this week, perhaps as early as tomorrow. The high school, it will be next as soon as school lets out, and they expect that to be completed by the first week of July. Elmridge Park fields will be worked on in August. Also, as part of the RLO program, they've started reviewing the timeline for the rooftop AC units at Town Hall. Also looking at the Town Hall boilers and town garage equipment, which they expect to be replaced next month. A brief update regarding to Complete Streets. Staff met on May 16th to discuss initial steps to implement policy, such as what to look for, et cetera, for this program. They're currently coming up with the criteria to use. Staff will present to an upcoming town council meeting once they get further along in the process. And lastly, on our consent agenda tonight are the pickleball courts to be constructed at Elmridge Park. We are approving a bid of $417,773.75, $400,000 of which almost all of it will be funded by a state of Connecticut DEEP grant for the Elmridge Park. The expected timing is still to be determined. There is a pre-construction meeting later this week. They hope to start construction in 3 to 4 weeks. There'll be curing times for the concrete, and then after that, there'll be curing times for the acrylic process. So once we get a little further along, we'll have a better idea of dates. We'll provide those to you when we get them. Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 17th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Public Safety.
Yes, so Public Safety met earlier today at 5:30, and I don't have a presentation today, but a PowerPoint, but I'll walk you through the highlights of the meeting. Starting with fire, the Limited Access Highway Fund unfortunately dried up this year and for the rest of the year, and it will be replenished on July 1st. Which is the good news part of the story. The other good news part of the story is that our state representative was able to get us $25,000 as a stopgap through July 1st. So that's coming along. Hopefully, we'll start getting the funds through the rest of the year as the funds get replenished on July 1st. On the EMD side, on the emergency management side, the EM director, Gary, told us that they are prepping for the next month's tabletop exercise for emergency management, which is the state exercise, and that will focus on the election preparedness. So that was the highlight of the update there. On the ambulance side, the numbers look pretty much in line with what we have been seeing year over year for the last last few months. So nothing extraordinarily any deviance or any changes, big changes in the numbers there to report. I would like to call everybody's attention to the fact that this is EMS Appreciation Week this week. So we would like to thank all our EMS professionals in town who help us and help our residents get through a lot of their emergencies in town. So thanks to all our first responders there. On the police side, Detective Leahy briefed us on a Greater Hartford task force for auto thefts, and they have been looking into. They have been working with the task force to get a resolution, looking at some suspects, warrants, things like that, for the February 3rd car break-ins. So there's more to come there, as the detectives told us, and it's a big help to be part of that task force. And we thank Chief Cladd and the detective Leahy to who was here and briefed us on that. One more update on the Kobe Road incident, which happened like a couple of months ago, where there was a stray bullet fired from somewhere on New Britain Avenue, which hit a house at Kobe Road. And the chief told us that they are still investigating that incident. There's more to come on that. So that's the police. And finally, on the health district side, Charlie Brown said he and his department is keeping an eye out on bird flu and monkeypox, which is coming up as a concern, not just in Connecticut, but across the country. And that's where their focus is, in addition to the regular mosquito-borne illnesses that you get during summertime. So those are like really their focus areas right now. And that's the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Senior Liaison.
Senior Liaison is scheduled to have our quarterly meeting on the 28th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Land Acquisition and Farmland Preservation.
No report. We have a meeting scheduled for next week.
Thank you. Liaison to the State Rep and State Senator.
Yes, I have a few updates from Representative Wood. I'll just provide. For people seeking operating fuel assistance, the deadline has been extended to the end of the month. She says to please apply now if that's something you'd like to do. The energy disconnection policy that was put into place during COVID has ended, meaning anyone with an outstanding bill may have their utilities shut off. If any Rock Hill residents are at risk, they can seek a payment plan now by calling their providers, Eversource Electric at 800-286-2000 or CNG for gas at 860-524-8361. There are 3 line items approved in the Rock Hill budget this year using ARPA dollars. 55. I think we may have spoken about some of these at earlier meetings or even earlier tonight. But $55,000 to the senior disabled housing, $25,000 for the fire department to help with their highway service calls, as Councilor Prakash mentioned, and $250,000 for the culvert flooding issues before Lakeview Avenue. Some important safety and first responder bills that passed this year. Illegal to pass a school bus plus a fine of $250. Fallen officer fund codifying benefits of families and $100,000. Firefighter, police officer, or EMS line of duty death, and ban the use of PFAS, which has been a cancer-causing agent in firefighter gear. Some insurance bills allow Connecticut companies to sell copay-only plans. Streamline captive insurance companies when moving protected cells. Required in-network provider coverage for fully insured plans, and allowed the AG to intervene in cases where insurance brokers, agents take advantage of clients to levy fines and seek restitution, closing a loophole that existed in state law. A few commerce bills passed a historical homes rehabilitation tax credit, created the Ireland Trade Commission, encourages bilateral agreements and exchanges, and created the Global Entrepreneur and Residence Program, allowing Connecticut to attract and retain specialists from other countries. Lastly, the Farmers Captive Insurance Fund that was worked on with many farmers, not only in Rock Hill and Weathersfield, but across the state, passed the House with full support, but was unfortunately killed by the Senate. It was the first year they attempted to create this fund to support farmers during extreme weather incidences, so they will continue to push this policy in future years. Did not get any update from Senator Lesser, but we got some last time, so we should be good. Thank you.
Thank you. School Liaison.
No report.
CIP.
No report.
And Economic Development Subcommittee.
No report, but based on the town manager's notes, it looks like we may have a meeting coming up soon.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. A, award of bid pickleball courts at Elmridge Park.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Moving on to old business A, discussion possible action, amendment of Town Ordinance, Chapter 4, Capital Projects, Article 1, subsection 4-1 and 4-2, use of general fund undesignated fund balance.
If you recall, at our last meeting, you passed a motion to modify section, I believe, 4.2 only. After further review, we feel that you really need to pass both 4.1 and 4.2 in order to become effective. So what I'd like to do is have a new motion passed to include those two so I can notice the public hearing tomorrow for the June 4th meeting.
Do you have the draft language for that? Or did you already did you give it to us in the packet?
I did.
Yeah.
It's just the motion, but I didn't do the draft language.
Okay.
But it's the same as last time, but just adding 10% as opposed to 6%.
Because it
to
was mentioned in both paragraphs. Yeah. Is everyone okay with that? Because it was mentioned in both paragraphs. Okay.
So I guess I'll make a motion to amend the motion from the prior meeting to include paragraph 4.1 with no changes, and paragraph 4.2 changing the 6% to 10%.
I'll second.
No.
4.1 goes to
Yeah.
10 as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
4.1 to 10, and 4.2 also from 6% to 10.
Okay.
That I will second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Moving on to new business, discussion and possible action, adoption 2024-2025 budget.
We're getting a handout.
You gonna bring it up? So as we typically do, we begin with a resolution, and Deputy Mayor, are you going to
Yep, I will make
Make
a
a motion?
motion to make the following adjustments to the budget provided by the town manager. So the first item is code 011-01700, 5111, economic development, full-time salaries. We're going to deduct $112,234 for the economic development position. Code 011-01700, 51-200, economic development part-time salaries. We're going to add $50,000. 012-02101, 5111, police administration full-time salaries. This was a duplicate, so we're going to remove the $95,000 from that line item. 01202-102, 5111, police records communication, full-time salary, deduct $95,000. 01202-104, 5111, police uniform patrol, full-time salaries, deduct $90,000. 01202-901, 5326, volunteer ambulance association fees, deduct $95,000. 013-00401, 5120, engineering, part-time salaries, deduct $20,000. 013-00502, 5404, sanitation, sewer service charges, deduct $150,000. 01300-502, 5417, sanitation grinding services, deduct $25,000. 01550-100, 5111, Cora Belden Library, full-time salaries, deduct $241,000. 01802-000, 5809, education, Board of Education, deduct $921,990. 01900-100, 5210, employee benefits group insurance, deduct $145,809. 01900-100, 5230, employee benefits employee pension, deduct $29,162. 0195000, 5338, capital improvements, assessors revaluation, deduct $40,000. 01950000, 5720, capital improvements, school improvements, deduct $600,000. 01950000, 5734, capital improvements, repairs to road reserve, deduct $550,000. 01950000, 5751, capital improvements, equipment facilities, deduct $140,000. 01950000, 5763, capital improvements, vehicles, highway, deduct $79,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. For discussion, since you're seconding, Counselor Savini, then you can go first with. Oh, no, you go first, sorry, because it's your motion. You're introducing the motion,
And
so you go ahead
Alan, I have a
first.
clarification question. Is this just the motion for deductions, and then we will have another motion for the adoption of the budget, right? They're not bundled in, right?
No,
How
this
are
is
we
one
doing this?
motion. It's one
It'll be
motion.
one motion.
All bundled in, both of them?
Correct.
Yes.
So is the adoption
The second
and the reductions?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay,
Second
all right.
resolution.
So it's adoption as with the stated cuts.
Of the budget.
Okay, yeah, adoption with the stated cuts. Okay, it's
And
one
a
resolution.
resolution.
So we are voting on just one time, essentially.
Does Alan have to read this too?
Do you want him to read the resolution?
Yes, there actually, it goes with two, which would be one, which is going to set the bottom line for the expenditures. Your second resolution will set your mill rate.
So that should be read into the record too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with the town council budget adjustments. Whereas the town council was recommended in the following budget adjustments to the town manager's proposed budget 2024-2025, be it resolved that the previously read budget adjustments for the 24-25 fiscal year are approved. And move forward with the adoption before discussion, the part two. Adoption of the 24-25 annual budget, be it resolved that the fiscal year 2024-25 general fund budget dated May 20th, 2024, as itemized by department, board, committee, commission, or other purpose, and provided for total expenditures in the amount of $1,078,241, with $53,532,239 for the Board of Education, $7,899,679 for debt retirement, $46,343 for departments, boards, committees, commissions, and other purposes of the town of Rocky Hill, be and hereby is adopted pursuant to Section 806 of the town charter. Be it further resolved that the fiscal year 2024-25 tax levy of the town of Rocky Hill shall be established in the amount, one second. Don't we need to have a discussion before we continue with this resolution? Yes, we need to have discussion on the motion
Have
before
the
we go.
discussion first.
Yeah,
As I'm reading through it, I'm,
You're on a roll.
so I'm going home early.
Okay, let's go back to that. So we have a motion on the table, and Counselor Greenspan, you put the motion on the table, so.
yeah, so let me go through the logic behind some of the cuts we made. Economic development, we felt that there was a need for an economic development director, but we thought that we can utilize a part-time position for economic development. However, we also believe there's an opportunity working with the state and CROG to get a part-time grant writer to fill the other half of the position, and that position potentially will have no cost to the town. So that was the logic. Police administration, that item was duplicated in the budget because it was also included in the communication line. I'm not recommending filling the communications position at the present time. We did consider an opportunity for a part-time person for that position, and the feedback through the town manager was they only wanted the full-time position and would do without the part-time. So we struck that from the budget. Police uniform patrol, we reduced the amount of full-time salaries by $90,000, but clearly that's not a cut to the police department. That $90,000 is in recognition that we won't be able to fill all those positions by July 1st. So there's no need to fund positions that aren't going to be filled. All the vacancies have enough money within the budget to be filled, but there's a time process for that to go through. The volunteer ambulance, the cut for $95,000 was a combination of the Rocky Hill Volunteer Ambulance Association picking up a portion of those fees, as well as Aetna extending the increase in fees, I believe, over a 5-year period. So that helps reduce that for the current year's budget. Engineering, there was a part-time salaries position that we believe we were able to reduce. Most of that work was being done on the farm, and we believe we're at a position we should be able to do that with staff in-house. Sanitation, the sewer service charge reduction of $150,000. First, I got to thank Commissioner Desai of the MDC. He was able to set up a call with both Mona and I, with Robert Barron, who's the CFO of MDC, and fully explain their calculations within their budget. Kind of gave us the secret sauce to how this is calculated. And we realized that, or Mona recognized that in the budget, we had accrued more money than we needed, so we were able to reduce that $150,000. Also in the sanitation grinding services, we reduced that line item by $25,000. Cora Belden Library, there was a $241,000 reduction. A couple of things going on there. First of all, the librarian, Mary had retired. That position is being filled by the assistant director, who will be taking over as the full-time director. So we're not going to fill the assistant position. And there was one other vacancy within the library that we confirmed with the town manager, that everything was running operationally fine within the library. So we were not going to fill that position, not fund that position for the current year. The Board of Education, $921,990. That was a cut provided by the Board of Education during their presentation. That's related to a change in their health insurance carrier and how those funds will be funded, or how that program will be funded. The 2 employee benefit line items that were reduced are not reductions. Those are being reduced by the positions we didn't fill. So those are the benefits that would have went along with those positions. Capital improvements, the $40,000 reduction is because we're not going to the annual revaluation process in the current year. Also in capital improvements, the building improvements, $600,000 reduction. That is because the Board of Education received a competitive grant, grant's the right word, competitive grant for the Stevens School HVAC program in the amount of $800,000. That grant is going to be over a multi-year period, so a portion of those funds will be used here to fill that gap. Repairs to roads reserve, this is something that we've talked about many years, that we need to put money aside for our predictable expenses. So we put we reduced the request of $1 million by $550,000. Still to fund that going forward, but recognizing it's a reval year and we're doing this at a difficult time for many residents, we wanted to make sure that we kept the mill rate as close to a affordable level as we could. The capital improvement equipment facilities reduction of $140,000. This is for the Rocky Hill Police Department generator. So we are going to move forward with this project, but we have a bid or a grant proposal out, and we're looking to obtain $140,000 on that grant. However, if we're not successful with the grant, we will go to the bank and take out a loan over 3 to 5 year period, whatever the finance director recommends, and fund that project. So we'll finally get that generator that we've been talking about for many years taken care of. Understanding that the lead time for that is somewhere between 8 and 12 months to get the generator in. The last item is the electric vehicles. I know there's a lot of passion for EVs. It's just not the right time. to spend $79,000 on electric vehicles. There's other
Charging
options.
stations.
I'm sorry?
Charging
And
stations.
And charging station, yes. So it's just not the right time to do that. We also recognize within the budget, and while we don't talk about the revenue side, there was a couple of increases in revenue on state properties for $140,000. There was a reduction in municipal transition of $419,000. I'm sorry, an increase. I had those backwards.
Yep.
State property was reduced by $140,000. Municipal transition increased by $419,000, and the ECS grant increased by almost $650,000.
It's already
Just in closing, I'd like to thank everybody involved with the budget, our town manager, our finance director, my fellow counselors, all the department heads for the presentations. This is a big undertaking, probably one of the more important roles we fill as a council in the course of a year. I'll tell you that no budget's ever perfect. Nobody's ever completely happy, but we try to do the best we can for those residents of the town as well as those that work in the town and volunteer within the town. So
Thank you. All right, so Counselor Savini, now, since you were the one to second the motion, you're up.
No, I just want to, Alan did a great job describing the adjustments to the budget. The collection rate, too, was increasing up to 99.42, which really didn't give us any room to possibly add money to the revenue side in order to reduce the mill rate as well. But looking at what was proposed, if we had no increase and you take the average, we're closer to the lower number than we are the higher number at this point. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Counselor O'Sullivan?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Greenspan, for your summary. Thank you, all my fellow councilors and the mayor, the town manager, finance director, for getting us to this point, for your hard work and preparation to get us to where we are tonight. As Councilor Greenspan aptly pointed out, no budget is perfect. We are a growing town, growing demands and needs for services at all times that we try to balance against the legitimate concerns of the taxpayers. And that's what makes it so challenging to try to find that sweet spot. So the suggestions that Mr. Greenspan put on the table, they're all difficult decisions to be made, and I think they're in recognition of trying to find that balance. I do have some concerns on the capital side that I just want to put on the record. With respect to the reserve for schools, I do believe the town manager, the finance director, and the superintendent of schools made a very compelling case for the need for predictable reserves for the Board of Ed capital projects going forward. The amount that they provided to us was an estimate of $1.2 million. What has been proposed here is to cut that ask in half to $600,000. Similarly, the road repair program, the original figure in the budget was $1 million. It is now proposed to cut that by a bit more than half to $450,000. And a third capital item that I think also needs to be addressed very, very soon is the need for a pool. And this is something that we've kicked down, a can that we've kicked down the road for a long, long time. There's really nothing here for that. So that said, I recognize that it's hard to go from 0 to 60 all at once, so to speak, that these reduced figures for the school capital and for the road maintenance, I hope and trust are a stepping stone to full funding, I would hope, in the next year or so. We don't want to get into the referendum process needlessly. If it can be avoided, and try to avoid that interest expense. Certainly, road maintenance is a need. It's not a want. It's predictable. It's in there every year, and it belongs in the budget. Again, predictability for school capital is very important. So I think we should aspire to getting to a fixed figure along the lines of what was proposed. But I respect the need to phase that in a bit. And again, I hope this is the year that we really get our arms around the pool situation. We've had many proposals. We've had references to possible grants out there. I would like to push for this coming year that this is the year that we really get our arms around this in a comprehensive way. Let's come up with a plan, agree upon it, nail down, is there grant money available or not, and let's make this the year that we make that happen. So with that said, these are concerns. Again, we're trying to thread a needle here, so it's not perfect. No budget is perfect. Notwithstanding the concerns that I raised, it's my intention to support the budget proposal that's before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Whalen.
I want to thank everybody for working so hard on this budget. Thank you very much. I am a fiscal conservative, and I believe we made a lot of deep cuts. I do believe that there were further cuts that could have been made and should have been made, and I am not in support of this budget.
Thank you. Councilor Thoreau.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for the hard work that they did. This is a thankless job, as we all know. We would love to be able to give everybody everything they want, and that's just not possible. I do have concerns, though, with the less than half for the road improvements. Back when we did the referendum for this, both sides were saying we need to budget for this, we need to budget for this, we need to budget for this. And I just have concerns because we're almost at the end of that 10-year cycle, so roads need to be maintained and so forth. And I also have concerns with the pool. We have to be, the pool's been here as long as I can remember. It's probably at the end of its useful life, and I just have concerns. There was money in an account, which is now down to $10,000. A lot of the potential grants are matching grants, so we have $10,000 to match. A lot of the other cuts, like I said, it would be nice to be able to have everything, but we obviously have to make tough decisions. So just with those, as Councilor O'Sullivan said, I have concerns particularly with those two issues.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Prakash.
So again, thank you everyone for burning the midnight oil, especially Mona. I'd like to thank Mona for answering countless questions of mine and others on this council. And I thank Councilor Greenspan and Levine working very hard on that, and all my fellow councilors here, including Councilor Whalen and Savini. And I'll just say this, over the course of last few months, I've been to many community conversations along with some of my friends in this council from both parties, and been talking to residents about the budget through those community conversations as well as social media. And they have told us, and me personally, that we need to protect our taxpayers in this year where we are having a reval, and we should prioritize our needs over our wants, which we have already done, always done in the last 4 years. But this year, especially because it's a reval year. And I've heard this over and over and over again, right? And I think Councilor Savini and Councilor Whelan can testify to that as well. So, like many of us said here, like we have to make hard decisions, and sometimes it means like prioritizing open positions and sometimes not filling them, or filling one versus the other, right? And not increasing the operating budget of town departments because we have increased them over the last 4 years. This year, we can't and we shouldn't, right? Or increasing the CIP funding. Nobody's against CIP funding, and we have funded CIPs over the last several years. I've been here, but this is not the year to increase it over 100% over the last year. So talking about difficult choices, I think, over the last 4 years, we have increased our budget, but this year we are increasing the budget at a higher rate than the last 4 years. We are increasing it at over 5%. This is not the year to do it. Now, also remember, this 5% increase in spending is coming in a reval year, as I said before, which, just to get my numbers right, I'm going to read this, is an average of 37% increase combined over condos and single-family homes in assessments, 37% on average, okay? So when you take that number, and then you take the number on the 5% increase in this budget year over year, this year, the bottom line is that we are going to increase the tax bill by an average of 11%. And if you're lucky, you will be on that average. That number can be as high as 18% on the condos, okay? Tax bill increase I'm talking about now. I'm not talking about the budget increase. I'm not talking about mill rate. I'm talking about your tax bill, which is being in the mail soon. On average, you will get 11% increase. And those condos who are going to get 18% increase, a lot of seniors are going to be affected in those condos, adversely impacted with this. So I'm just saying this budget does not make enough sacrifices, in my view, in my personal view. And I think we should have gone further. And for that reason, I'll be voting no on this budget.
Thank you. Councilor Emmanuel?
Yep, thank you. I echo what my fellow councilors said. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Mona. Jeff, for your financial integrity. I will say, and I'll keep this fairly brief, I do like a lot of what's in the budget, and especially the reductions that have been made. There's a couple of things that I'm somewhat disappointed with, though, and I just want to briefly address. One is, as a few folks have mentioned, the pool. There was almost close to $500,000 in a pool fund for Elmridge Pool, which is over 50 years old, and it's been wanting complete renovation for many years. And now that money's been removed, and it's down to $10,000. We can't keep relying and saying we're going to get grant money and kicking the can down the road, crossing our fingers. So that's one thing. The other thing is the EVs, and Alan, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But when I think about the combustion, I mean, on the town side, I'm keeping this police separate. For town employees that use town cars, you know, it kind of bothers me that in this day and age, with EVs becoming more prevalent on the roads, that sometimes we have to start thinking that if we spend $1, we may have to spend $1 today in terms of to save $2 tomorrow. So with an EV car, there won't be any annual maintenance. There won't be fluid changes, and many of us who have had EVs know. I've read municipalities that have saved tens of thousands of dollars on EVs. And that just goes along with how the ARP money was spent. I've always had a problem with the ARP money being spent on new positions in town hall when it only funded the first year and put pressure on the budget for subsequent years. ARP money should have been used for CIP things like this. So that was one disappointment. And the other was the road improvement. You know, we heard from Steve Sopelak a couple of years ago what he needed. This was during the second referendum for the road improvement. What he needed after if the second road improvement was passed, he would need, in order to avoid future referendums, he would need a certain amount every year. And I believe, Mona, that may have been $1 million a year. I'm just afraid that 450 and hoping, crossing our fingers next year that we could fully fund $1 million, I think is just too much. And I'm just afraid that we're leading to another referendum in a few years for roads. So with that, and I know the outcome of this, but I'd like to make a friendly amendment to the motion to add $30,000 to a special EV fund under 0195-0000-5763.
Second.
While I appreciate the friendly amendment.
Well, actually, can I make the discussion, because I made the
I'm
motion?
sorry, yes, thank you.
The reason for the 30,000 is that if we're hoping for a grant, it could be a matching grant, but at least we're starting the seed money for an EV infrastructure. You know, I don't know if people have seen in the paper that Connecticut has some of the worst air quality on the Northeast, but we're just not doing anything relating to that on a municipal level. And we keep on buying, even if they're used cars, we're still buying combustion cars. So, as I said before, if we have to spend $1 to recoup $2 in savings later, it's well worth it. And I think we can plant the seed. Instead of $79,000, I'm just asking for $30,000. So that's the motion.
I think what we have to be cognizant of the fact is, we probably all agree with you, but if we're going to add 30, we're going to have to take it from somewhere else, because I can't support just adding more money when we're really at this sort of critical point. So, if I think one of the things that we have there, I'll let Alan speak to it. I mean, we have a few things, but the number that probably makes the most sense is MDC fire hydrants, because I know Mona is trying to put away money and build a cushion. But, this is one of those things, John, where we're building cushions and now taking away from it. But, all things considered, perhaps the MDC built in, it's not an absolute need, perhaps. That's where we can make an adjustment in the equal amount. So that would be a friendly amendment. But we can discuss.
Well, I mean, the motion's there, however you get the money.
Well, yours was 30. Yours was 30. Yeah.
You're taking 30 from someplace to.
Well, no, we wouldn't
fund
take
this.
30 because I think the fire hydrant was 25. But
If we're able to substitute some dollars, I'd be fine with the friendly amendment, but I just don't want to add to the budget without being able to take from somewhere else. So if I may, Mona, do you have a number that is within the fire hydrant, I believe, MDC fund?
Yes, I think we had, a request of 135, which was covering an experience we had this year, which was a repair of a hydrant, which was about 20,000. We would have the 30,000 available if that's the line item that you would so choose. It would bring that to 105, which would cover the cost of hydrants plus the increase per hydrant.
Okay.
So if you so choose, do you need an account number to work with?
Please.
Okay. So you would be looking at account 01202204 5444. 5445.
5445. So 01202204 and 5445?
Correct.
Okay. So John, if we could amend your friendly amendment to deduct from 01202204 5445, the $30,000, which is in the fire hydrant reserve, and move that to the EV fund, which is 0195-000-5763.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
So that's just changing the amendment, the motion.
Just changing the motion, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on.
There's a lot of moving parts, right?
Councilor Emanuel, do you have anything else?
No, I
Okay, thank
think
you.
we need, Actually, I think we need a discussion down the road about the pool.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Levine?
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to thank all the fellow council members that worked with Al and I. Spent a lot of time, and especially Ray, and especially Mona. I think Mona and I are on speed dial.
You are.
So I don't know if she likes to hear, sees my name, or she dreads when she sees it on the caller ID, but I know how hard she worked on this, especially, and I really do appreciate all the clarifications. And I could tell you, we tried pulling as many levers as we could to lower this mill rate. I mean, we were looking at everything under the sun. Some things work, some things wouldn't work. And so, as everybody said, there's no perfect solution, but this is what we've come up with, which we think is the best interest of the greater good. Councilor Mean, I just add that I appreciate your EV discussion, because you know I'm a sucker for EVs, so I appreciate that. Just about the BOE CIP cut, to talk about, because that does look alarming when you see the 600,000. Just so you understand, the reason we're comfortable with the cut was 400 of that is from the grant for the Stevens HVAC, which it's supposed to be announced today. I don't know if it was actually officially announced, so maybe let the cat out of the. But anyway, there's the HVAC grant there, and there's also, I think, 200,000 CIP from the current fiscal year that will get pushed into that year. So we kind of have those dollars covered in this particular circumstance. So hopefully that's somewhat comforting. And it's funny, you know, talking about CIP, I've heard some people say the CIP is too low, some say it's too high. So now you can kind of see what we go through when we go putting the budget together. You know, the adage goes, when nobody's happy with an agreement, probably means it's a good agreement. So maybe that means we're at a good space. We'll have to see. So, but that's a little synopsis and look into what we go through. So, the budget process is kind of interesting, because you can go through every department and really gives you an idea, okay, look at all the things that are important to this town. Public safety with fire, police, ambulance, education, of course, you know, all the activities, human services, you know, keeping the roads maintained, plowed. The list goes on of all the things, and everybody has the things that they want and need and all for good reasons. I mean, even the things that we didn't approve, they weren't by any means frivolous, but as everybody has kind of said, we had to make difficult decisions in a difficult time, especially with the revaluation that are changing some of the values of properties to high levels. So one other thing I want to really credit Ray and Monan particularly was, and anyone who talks to me knows I've been screaming about this for 7 years, is more of a focus on the balance sheet. It's vital for our rating to have that focus. And I know Mona has talked about this at other meetings about the focus on that, our fund balance. And it's extremely important to maintain our bond rating, so when we do have to borrow, it is at a more reasonable rate. So I think this is probably the first time in a long time that there's been kind of that discussion, and I'm glad that we started doing that this year. I think it's going to prove very well for us going forward. So about the further budget cuts, we also have to keep in mind, which I don't think came up about Board of Education, and it did come up at their presentation, the budget workshop, that they are scheduled to give back to us at least $265,000. Perhaps it'll be more, time will tell. That would probably be in June, and that will go toward the fund balance, which as Mona will tell you, is a great thing for us for the aforementioned reasons I gave regarding the balance sheet. So we're kind of happy how that's all kind of playing out to help in a lot of different areas. One other thing I should mention about the tax bills, the property tax bills that we haven't talked about. We talked about house property taxes. We haven't talked about car taxes. And the good news there is your car tax bill should reduce significantly. Car values have dropped since last year. The mill rate's going to be lower than it was last year. And you put that all together, and you factor in the average house, which maybe they have a house and 2 cars, and you put it all together with the reduction in your car taxes, with your increase in your house taxes, and you come to an overall tax that's pretty comparable to an increase in what you pay in other years. So the fact of the matter is we're going to have increase in tax bills every year because salaries go up every year, and benefits go up every year, and gas goes up every year, and a variety of other things go up every year, things we can't control. Even if we don't do anything new for personnel or anything, prices go up. It's just the way. The vast majority of the employees are under contracts, and it's all built in. So we try to do the best we can. We try not to fill positions we don't feel are needed, which helps mitigate some of that. But at the end of the day, everybody wants their services, which they should. Rock Hill does a terrific job for providing these services, providing education, safety services like from our police and fire and ambulance and so forth. So we want to make sure that they're as funded as well as possible. So all that said, I am in full support of the budget as is presented. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to sort of sum up what we've done tonight. It's been a challenging year. We've had numerous obstacles, and it seems that we can't catch a break. There's always something unprecedented that happens each year. But this budget continues to deliver the quality services that our community deserves. It is the product of many months of hard work and many months of collaboration. It's collaboration amongst the counselors who sit here. It's our wonderful partnership with our Board of Education, and it's our good partnership with our town manager and our finance director. And those things are very, very important. And every decision that we make on the town side not only impacts residents, but it impacts our Board of Education to do what it needs to do to maintain our schools of excellence, and it impacts all of our departments, and we are very, very aware of that, which is why we spend so much time and we value all of the partnerships and the collaboration. So I thank everyone for that. We are all acutely aware of the impact of the recent property reval that households are facing. It's wonderful if you're in a position to sell your home. If you're looking to buy, it's not so good. And if you're looking to sort of stay where you are, I understand this sense of apprehension. But because of that, and because we are so cognizant of what people are going through now, we have really spent a lot of time prioritizing our needs. And it's because of that prioritization that we were able to reach this budget, which provides the services that everyone has come to expect, allows us to put money into our savings at what we believe is the least expense to the taxpayers. One of the things that's also unique this year is a competing challenge, and that is the amount of debt that we have on our books. And I know that we say this year over year, but we have many back-to-back-to-back referendums. And at some point, that catches up with you, all of that borrowing. And yeah, we try to put money away each year into our CIPs, but it's difficult. And we've had tremendous challenges. The least, not the least of which was a global pandemic. So, times have been difficult. Now we're in this post-pandemic economy. We're trying to recover. Inflation is still high, but we have to start putting money aside. And so, as Councilor Levine had suggested, a lot of our focus in these difficult budgeting years has been on revenue and expenditures. And this year, we recognize that we really need to put more focus on assets and liabilities. And we do that not just because we believe that it's the prudent thing to do, but also our auditors believe that that's the prudent thing to do. And we don't ever want to be in a position where we jeopardize our AA plus good standing with Standards and Poor's, because if that happens, it's just not good for the town, and we could risk losing businesses, and certainly businesses are not going to want to move in. One of the reasons why we were lucky to maintain our AA plus stable bond rating this year, as our finance director had mentioned in a previous meeting, is because of the amount of economic development that we have seen over the past 3 to 5 years. And we've seen, or we are witnessing, the revitalization, one of the biggest revitalizations in 20-something years of the former Ames property. We're seeing lots of new businesses come to town. That economic growth and development is what got us through this year. But if we don't start putting money aside now, and we've put a significant amount in this proposed budget to carry us through and to protect the taxpayers, it's about long-term planning. And the long-term planning is not always easy to do. It's not easy, for us in our personal households. It's difficult at the town level, but we have to take that step. And it's important in order to protect the sustainability of all of our taxpayers here and to prevent those sort of spikes in your taxes year over year because we're not properly funding our projects. So I guess in closing, I just want to say, it is definitely with deference to our community, and it's in collaboration with our Board of Education and our town manager and our finance director that we seek to adopt this budget this evening. Thank you.
So do you just vote now?
Yes. Okay. So all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. The budget carries. Thank you, everyone.
Now we need to do the
Now we need a
adoption.
resolution.
I don't think any of the numbers have changed, so I could reread the first couple of paragraphs. Adoption of the 24-25 annual budget, be it resolved that for the fiscal year 24-25, general fund budget updated May 20th, 24, as itemized by department, board, committee, commission, or other purposes, and providing for total expenditures in the amount of $100,078,241, with $53,532,239 for the Board of Education, $7,899,679 for debt retirement, and $38,646,323 for other departments, boards, committees, commissions, and other purposes of the town of Rocky Hill, be and hereby is adopted pursuant to Section 806 of the town charter. Be it further resolved that for fiscal year 24-25, tax levy for the town of Rocky Hill shall be established in the amount of $85,355,977, and the tax rate upon the grand list of October 1, 2023 shall be $29.17 per $1,000 of taxable value of real property, personal property, and motor vehicles. Be it further resolved that tax bills in the following amounts shall be due in one installment on July 1, 2024. Real estate tax bills of $300 or less. All motor vehicle tax bills, personal property tax bills of $500 or less. Be it further resolved that all other tax bills shall be due in 2 equal installments, payable without interest and/or penalty on July 1, 2024, and January 1, 2025. Be it further resolved that all motor vehicle and personal property tax bills in the amount of $2 and under are hereby waived. Be it further resolved that the town manager is hereby authorized to secure bids for items approved in the budget, subject to the provisions of the charter. Be it further resolved that the Capital Improvement Program 2024-2025 through 2029-2030 be and hereby adopted pursuant to Section 802 and 806 of the Town Charter. Be it further resolved that the Capital Improvement Program 2024-2025 through 2029-2030 is a forecast of capital expenditures and may be modified to meet changes in priorities that occur within the community over time. I don't believe I could read the certification.
Okay. All in favor? Do you want to do, did we not have a second?
Oh.
Do you want a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Nick?
Okay, we're going to move on to the mayor's report. So there were some special recognitions a few days ago by the Rocky Hill Board of Education. They had a really nice little ceremony at their meeting, and they recognized the valedictorian and the salutatorian, and I just want to give a big shout out to Suma Dendi and Muktha Ramesh as valedictorian and salutatorian. Congratulations. The CABE Student Leadership Awards went to Madeline Kosker and Dominic Violet. And we have three incredible folks who are joining the military or have just have previously signed up, and that's what they will be doing post-graduation. So thank you for your service to these three individuals. Christopher LaValle, who is going into the Marines, Dominic Violet, Army National Guard, and Shay Wilkinson into the Coast Guard. And then there were actually some GMS CABE Student Leadership Awards for Kira Potter and Mason Marjota, and the Middle Level Student Scholar Awards to Emily Forcier and Kira Potter. Excuse me. So congratulations to those kiddos on their hard work. We had our second meeting at Stepney Place to go over with residents some of the security improvements that are happening there. And we received a little bit of feedback in where they could use our help, potentially with some lighting, because there are some street lights that they would sort of like to expand the width of the lights. So I know that the town has spoken with folks out there. We are wrapping up National Police Week. And so, for all of our fallen heroes out there, we just want to remember them and honor them and know that they are forever in our hearts, and we are forever grateful for their service to our communities around the nation. In support of AAPI Month, we have another highlight. There is a Rocky Hill Tamil School, which is fully volunteer and accredited, and it serves K through 8 students. And they came to visit me last week, and I was so incredibly impressed because I didn't know that this school actually existed. And it's run by Rocky Hill volunteers. They have 148 students currently enrolled who are learning the Tamil language, literature, culture, and its beautiful heritage. They actually go on Friday evenings, these students, K through 8th grade, and they spend a couple of hours, additional hours learning, and they'll be having a graduation next month. I want to thank all of our Rocky Hill volunteers for this tremendous service that they provide to our community and the impact that they're making on the lives of so many children. Congratulations on their 10 years of service. And let's see, I think that might be it. I just want to close with thanking everyone for the nominations in the Hartford Courant Readers Poll Best Of. I was very, very honored to be chosen by the readers as the first runner-up as Best Politician, second only to my queen bee, Erin Stewart, Mayor of New Britain, and so I can't think of a better person to be associated with, and also as a second runner-up as Best Community Leader. I'm truly, truly grateful for that recognition and for everyone who voted for it. I didn't find out again this year. Last year I found out about it after the fact, and this year I found out like 24 hours before. But it was a month-long voting, and so thank you to the communities out there for your support. And I truly, truly love what I do. So thank you for making it all the worthwhile. And we'll move on to Town Manager's report.
Okay, excuse me. You have my May 16th memo in front of you. I'll run down this quickly. We are now advertising for the Assistant Fire Marshal position. That position will become vacant at the soon-to-be retired Assistant Fire Marshal Frank Kelly. Tax abatements, we haven't had one in a year or so. We now have a request for two developments seeking assistance through our business incentive program, and we'll be coordinating meeting with the Economic Development Subcommittee to look at least one application. The other one, we have two developments being proposed. One development has submitted an application. I had them wait until after our budget process, and I spoke to the other potential owners, and they will hopefully be, well, not hopefully, but they will be submitting their application soon, I think. As you may have read, Horizon Commons, where Kohl's is, that property was sold last week or within the past couple of weeks to a New Jersey LLC for $12,600,000. And we have our new Economic Development Commission currently working on reintroducing the business visitation program. A very valuable program, and they found that it is valuable, and they think they need to start visiting these businesses. They're looking at our past survey forms and other survey forms that they think they could use. So hopefully that'll get off the ground. In response to some racist activity concerns, I had requested that the police step up their patrols in some of our parks and trails, and they have done that very successfully. As was mentioned, Beach Road drainage, that project has received a $250,000 grant from Senator Lesser for engineering to address the drainage issues in that neighborhood. The Complete Streets staff met last week to discuss initial steps to start implementing the Complete Streets policy. The initial step will be to form a checklist when reviewing developments from private developers, and also when repaving roads and expanding sidewalks, looking to implement where possible and where financially possible certain complete street design elements. The Middlesex County Rocky Hill Division Chamber meeting was in our community center last week. Gina hosted that meeting, a very successful meeting. Mayor Murata and I met with an owner of a large commercial property, again seeking assistance with marketing, lead generation for their tenants. That's a common activity that I have worked with over the years. National Public Works Week, we already went through that. And we have our road referendum projects coming up this year. We will be paving, recycling, milling, and paving Autumn Circle, Winter Lane, Fox Hill, and France Street from Skyview to 10 Rod Road. These are all CIP funded. And the building department, construction season has started, and they just wanted to send a reminder that building permits are required for all new construction, even if you're performing the work yourself. It's for the protection of you and other future owners. The Vessel project, the affordable housing development approved on Henkel Way, has broken ground. They are in the early stages of their site work. For Kelson Row, foundations are complete on 5 of the 11 buildings. Framing and plumbing and electrical has started on 4 of those buildings. I've noticed the color pattern has changed a bit, which is much improved from what the renderings had shown. And as you all know, Scuba Shack is under the Scuba Shack property where the Interstate Liquor Store was. Is currently under construction for a new gas station and a convenience store. And a little update on our former landfill property. The owners of that property on Meadow Road have been issued citations by our Wetland Commission and have received a notice of violation from Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And the owners have hired an engineering firm to hopefully address the violations, and our community development staff is working on coordinating a meeting with the owners to move forward with compliance for that property. Just want to add one item. We've initiated a new process in-house regarding the purchases from the asset forfeiture account and the other, the highway, fire response highway account, special revenue funds.
All special revenue.
Special revenue, all special revenues. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Anything $5,000 and above will need to be vetted and reviewed by the finance director and then go to the finance subcommittee for a report. And that includes vehicles, equipment, anything $5,000 and above. Did you mention? Do they have copies?
No.
Okay. June 19th, Juneteenth, the Rocky Hill inaugural Juneteenth celebration, Emancipation Day, will be held on June 19th at Elmridge Park from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. with a rain date of June 22nd. This is in celebration of the emancipation of African Americans in the United States. What they will be doing, they will be having all sorts of activities and prizes, guest speakers, some entertainment, free swimming, and a wing food truck. So it's a family gathering just to celebrate and to have fun and to communicate and to meet people. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you may contact 860-258-2772 or email parksandrec@rockyhillct.gov. Did I cover that? Okay.
Yeah. May I just add one thing to that?
Of course.
Yeah. So this year, in this inaugural year, the committee has also engaged the students from K all the way through 12, and in a creative expression contest. So there are different age groups set up. We have a local business in town who's going to be awarding prizes to the first, second, and third place winners. And so the creative expression can be anything artistic, using any type of medium. It can be a writing, a poem, poetry, all kinds of things. So we're very, very excited to get the children involved in this celebration as well. And then, Ray, I just had a question. Is there a paving schedule on the website? Because when I looked last month, it was last year's. And the roads that you mentioned, does that constitute the full paving schedule?
I will verify that
Okay.
with Steve.
Thank you.
And if there isn't an updated one, it will be on the schedule very soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
On the website very soon.
Okay. All right, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?